On this week's show,
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web and fucks off to Europe.
There's something wrong with the tip of my penis. It's Stranger Things!
and as I'm the only sensible one here, I'd like to talk about video games.
Stay tuned.
Seriously, do you think I should ask a doctor to have a look at it?
Yeah.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks. People who think they've got superpowers, but really it's just fucking drones. People who've got drones who think they've got superpowers, that's you, Keith. People who stick to walls, people who shoot sticky stuff from themselves, that's Nigel. People who are strange, that's me. People who are stranger than normal, that's also me. And people who like playing PS Plus games when they were expecting a football game, but they didn't get a football game, they got some kind of weird David Cage game, which apparently is is a lot better than those shitty, what do you call it? Telltale games. Thank you very much, because they have consequences in them, unlike the Telltale games where you could just go through the whole thing not saying a fucking word like I do, because I find it strangely amusing. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And all these podcasting journeys, I have my stalwart Nigel, who I love referring to as Captain Birdseye. So hello, Captain Birdseye.
You alright?
And a man who I can only describe as having side boob. It's Keith.
Hey guys.
Hi guys. I'm so conscious of saying hi guys on my YouTube videos, I've taken it away. Okay. So this week we'll mostly be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home, or Spider-Boy, as I like to refer to it as, Stranger Things Season 3, and the weird thing that's happened with the PS Plus games, and what games we've got, and what games we're playing, and stuff
Theme parks.
to do with gaming.
Theme parks.
Alright, and theme parks. We'll talk about theme parks. Don't get me on theme parks, I'll be there for fucking ages. Alright, so I haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home because...
No, hang on.
bothered.
You've
I have
got
more
to
important
set
things
this
to do.
up.
There's
There's some fucked up thing going on. The world is not right. We're in the upside down. Because you haven't seen Spider-Man, but the world's fucking slowest man, the man that never sees a fucking movie when it first comes out, has fucking seen it. We are in the upside down.
Hang on a second. You did know that I told Nigel that Spider-Man came out last month, didn't you? So Spider-Man came out, you should go see it. And now he's seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, it's weird because the way Endgame happened kind of finished off the MCU for me. And I'm not a big fan of the Spider-Boy films because they're not fucking Spider-Man. And me and Keith mainly were arguing about this before the podcast started. Because Keith is a sheep. He's the biggest sheep.
No, not a
so
sheep.
sheepy.
I just enjoyed this film.
He's so sheepy that if he goes to Wales or to New Zealand, there's a good chance he might get raped.
You're a dick.
As long as he's not bending over to find something, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, well, we don't know. It's like
Or somebody might try and milk him instead. I don't know.
I've dropped my iPhone. Ah! Okay, so you guys saw Spider-Man. Right, so I made some predictions about Spider-Man. One, the multiverse thing, bollocks. Mysterio, he was just lying to everyone. And Nick Fury wasn't Nick Fury. And I think I was right on all three counts.
You semi-called the Nick Fury thing, yes. But I don't think Nigel got that. You see, and this is the thing. So, Gareth,
why don't you think Nigel got that? He hasn't fucking spoken yet.
I don't think you got who the two guys were because you haven't seen Captain Marvel.
Who said I haven't seen Captain Marvel?
You said you haven't seen Captain Marvel. Have you
No,
not seen?
I'm the one who hasn't seen... Hang on, I didn't see Captain Marvel out of principle. And I just
Have you seen Captain Marvel, Nigel?
Yes.
I'm sure we even spoke about it on the podcast.
Yes.
Well, I'm
I was the only
you
one
not
that didn't
seeing
see it.
It's only been out 6 months now.
You You fucking octopus, you.
Fuck me. Jesus Christ, Keith. No, I have seen Captain Marvel. They're like Kree, aren't they?
Skrull. Nigel
Skrull.
Or
Skrull.
Skrull. Whatever the names are. They're fucking not Nick
They're
Fury.
the green ones. The green ones are the
I am
Skrull and
I
the
am
blue
very
ones are
happy
Kree.
we had that scene
Right.
because I will admit, stewing over the treatment of Nick Fury in this entire film because I'm thinking, hang on, Gareth was wrong. It is Nick Fury. And when the movie ends, it's like, oh, that was Nick Fury. That was really dumb. And then we got the Jonah Jameson cutscene, which was cool. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? And I sat there to the end of the credits thinking there's probably going to be another one. And then obviously we got the bit in the car and, they turn into the two Skrull from the Captain Marvel film. The only good thing in the Captain Marvel film. And yeah, that made it all more sense. And then it left us with that Nick Fury on a great big fucking spaceship in space. What the fuck is going on there? I would like to know.
And where are his goddamn shoes?
Yeah, where is his motherfucking shoes? I wish he'd gone, where are my motherfucking shoes? I've seen too much Shaft. That's the problem.
Which, by the way, is out on Netflix.
Yes, I know. It's awesome. It's so
I need to watch it. To be fair, I went in. When I was a kid, I did not watch any Marvel or DC, So I'm really only getting introduced to Marvel and DC in my adulthood, especially with the kiddies. Both kids really enjoyed the movie, and especially as the girl who plays MJ, she's in a bunch of programs that the kids know from Nickelodeon, so they recognised her, which is good for them.
Nigel, I think you should be particularly annoyed at what they've done to MJ. They're trying to erase ginger people from films. Just saying.
Here we go. Now we're going to get the Ariel thing as well, aren't we?
You're oppressed. Well, she doesn't look fucking Danish, does she?
No, I'll give you that. I am trying.
They did have a lot of orange in there though when he woke up in Netherlands.
Yeah, true.
So there was that.
To be fair,
I didn't mind the movie. I thought it was okay. I thought Nick Fury was maybe behaving not quite how he normally has been. I thought it was a bit weird because he didn't seem so switched on like he normally is, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He normally knows everything, and I'm sitting there going, how does he not know everything?
Yeah.
And then it pans out, he's one of those green things, which makes sense. So, what I don't get, Happy calls Fury. He drops him what is obviously a code word for him to know that something was going on. For him to know what Happy means, but not being Nick Fury, how would he know? Unless obviously Happy knows that these are the green things.
Because we don't know how long Nick Fury has been off Earth. For all we know, that wasn't Nick Fury at the funeral in Endgame, and that would explain Nick Fury's absence in Endgame as well. Because he's not really in Endgame until right at the end. Okay, yeah, you see him, but we don't even know if that's Nick Fury. Because he's with Mariah Hill in that, and he's with Mariah Hill again.
Maria Hill,
whatever. Maria Hill in the end, in the funeral bit of Tony Stark. So we don't know if it's Nick Fury there either. I have a sneaking suspicion it isn't. Yeah, I'm glad that they put that scene in there because I would have been really pissed off otherwise. Because I thought, this isn't Nick Fury, and after what Captain Marvel did to him, I thought this would have been an extra insult. But I like how it ended. That made me feel different. So then I went and saw it again, and enjoyed it far more because I knew what was going on with Nick Fury, and actually when you watch it, there's so many telltale signs. So it's
right.
It's.
I just thought it didn't look quite right. So
you're right.
Yeah, it did explain. Yeah, I couldn't put a finger on it because I don't know fucking.
I mean,
the Marvel universe like you guys. So
to be fair to Gareth, right, he's been a Spider-Man fan since I fucking known him. I remember really geeking out when we found out about the first Sam Raimi film, and I was bitterly disappointed by the first film because I couldn't get over how bad it looked. Whereas the second one, I really, really enjoy and would still go as far to say it's still the best Spider-Man film.
Who was in that one? That
was
Doc
Tobey
Ock,
Maguire,
wasn't
but
it?
that was Doc Ock, and that
Yes,
was just,
Tobey-
that was
Doc Ock, yeah.
I thought Mysterio was brilliant. I really, really liked Mysterio. I've wanted to see Mysterio on film forever, and I think they did it justice.
No, you haven't. That's a lie.
No, it's not. I've been telling you for ages.
That's a lie.
It's not.
That's an absolute lie.
No, it's not.
I know this. You can't say forever. You can say for the last 18 months, and I'll go, all right, fair enough.
No, it's been for a lot longer
but
than that, because I said to you in the last one I want to see Mysterio before Vulture. I've said that on podcast. I
No,
wanted
you
to see him.
haven't.
Yes, it is. I've been
Go
wanting to
find
see
it. Go
Mysterio.
find it. Go find
I
the podcast.
will go
'cause you
find it.
haven't.
I wanted to see Mysterio.
And it has
for
to
a
be
while.
older than 18 months, Keith.
You will be. Because I know that I've been wanting to see Mysterio for quite a long time. It was the one character that I thought they've never done.
Everyone wants to see Carnage.
Eh,
No, everyone wants to see Carnage.
I don't
It's
think they'll
Venom
do
and
it
Carnage
right.
are the
I
two
think
ones.
they'll ruin Carnage, and they already. I mean, although having said that, the guy that they cast in the Venom movie version of Carnage, I think Woody Harrelson could be interesting. I think Woody Harrelson could pull it off.
But you're not going to see Woody Harrelson's face much, to be honest with you.
No, and we are
'Cause
getting
Carnage
another
never
Venom
really-
movie.
Oh, is Carnage? I've just had to Google it because I have no idea what that is. Carnage is like a Venom thing.
Yeah, he's the son of Venom. He's bonded to a psychopath called Cletus Cassidy. Cletus, what a fucking name. Cletus Cassidy,
Love it.
who, when they combine, instead of doing the thing that Eddie does, where he keeps referring to himself as we, because it's him
Yeah.
and Venom, he refers to himself as I, because they formed such a perfect mix that it became Carnage all by himself. And he just loves killing people in a variety of different ways and stringing them up and writing their names with blood all over the wall and stuff. And that's why we need a Spider-Man, not a fucking Spider-Boy. So we can have stuff like that.
Oh, somebody's saying Venom 2.
It is
Carnage.
Carnage. It is
2020.
Carnage. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
But it
because
could.
the scene
Oh,
at the end
maybe
of
that's
Venom.
fan made.
No, it's not.
That might be fan made.
There's
No?
an end credit sting at the end of Venom that basically sets up Carnage. So, because Eddie Brock goes to see Clay in prison, and that sets it all up. It's Woody Harrelson playing him, which is an interesting.
Oh yes.
Which is interesting casting. I will give you that. Look, I know what you're saying about this, that it isn't Spider-Man that you think, and you're right. You're correct. I still enjoyed it. I still think it's good, and I love the Spider-Man white logo suit at the end. I love the white logo on the back of that. That was quite a cool little nod.
I find that weird because the white logo is from the games.
Yeah, I know.
It's not from any of the comics as far as I know.
No, it's not from the comics that I know either. Certainly none of the ones I collected. And no, it's I thought it was quite cool. I love the bit in the plane where he's making the suit with the music, the nod to Tony Stark, but that's just me because I like Iron Man and I like the little nod. Is this, if you are a Spider-Man purist, yeah, I can see why you don't like it. I genuinely can see that. I get it. I love Spider-Man. I know. If I was being absolutely objective, I've said this all along. I wish they'd done Miles Morales and not another version of Peter Parker, but they didn't. So this is the Spider-Man we've got, and it's not a bad movie. It's considerably better than Homecoming.
Okay.
I didn't mind this film at all. All I look for in a film is does it entertain me, or does it make me entertained to the point where I'm not looking at my phone or looking at the time to see how long's passed and how long I've got to endure, and does it make me laugh on occasion if it's that sort of film? And it really did. I didn't look at my phone apart from to fucking cancel notifications on my phone. And I didn't look at the time once. I was like, oh, do you know what? Time's passed me by here. I must have been enjoying this. And as soon as I saw Mysterio, I don't know much about Mysterio. I don't know anything about Mysterio, to be fair. I saw him in that fucking with the cape and the fishbowl on his head and stuff, and I thought, surely he's a bad guy. So how is he helping Nick Fury and all that stuff? And when he came up with the whole multiverse thing, and I'm thinking, all right, yeah, that seems plausible because fucking we've had a Spider-Man multiverse film come out, although it was a cartoon. Maybe they just take it from that. That's what I thought. I thought maybe it is a thing. Turns out he's got a fucking cast of people behind him with special effects working in the background and all that stuff. And he's literally just fucking acting into a free what do you call it? A motion capture suit.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
Can I ask you a question, Gareth? Do you like the Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, I did like Into the Spider-Verse.
I loved that. I watched it again today, and genuinely, really, really enjoyed it.
Really good.
Yeah, I did like it. They did well with that. Yeah, and I was hoping maybe they would have introduced the multiverse, and you could have had Venom come through the fucking gap and all that stuff.
There's something else that was really interesting that will interest you. The J.K. Simmons sort of cameo at the end in the sort of post or mid credits sting. He is playing. Yeah. He is Alex Jones, just like in the game, and you can clearly see it.
Yeah, but the difference between... Hang on a second. The difference between him and Alex Jones is that before, in the game, J. Jonah Jameson was in charge of the Daily Bugle, but got fired over the Matt Gargan incident. And then he went on to become like Alex Jones. So,
yeah,
I understand
that's right,
that.
isn't it?
In this...
In the game, he's not. He's not in the Daily Bugle.
He's running a podcast
by himself.
But it is. But it starts off and it goes 2-time Pulitzer Prize winning, because it goes Pulitzer Prize winning, goes 2 times like that in the background. It's like, oh, that's awesome.
The only thing that bothered me about J.K. Simmons' role in this was they didn't put the wig back on him, and they should have done. He should have had the wig on. He shouldn't have had his natural baldness, because J.K. Jonah Jameson has a full set of hair. He does not go bald. That was my only gripe with it. I wish they put the wig on him, because then he would have been... Because he hasn't changed since that first fucking Spider-Man's come out. He hasn't got any older. And
big question about that scene that Jonas shows. As we all know it's doctored. We know the footage is doctored and cut together to make it look like Spider-Man called the drone strikes and stuff. However, who did the doctoring? Was it Jonas or was it Mysterio and his team?
Mysterio. It was Mysterio.
It was the guy at the end, because there's a scene. You missed the other guy, the doctor guy that was from the first Iron Man movie, which it really was the same actor.
Yeah.
Right? You see a scene of him downloading something to a USB key just after Mysterio is supposedly wiped out on the bridge, which I don't buy. So I think Mysterio isn't dead.
They didn't show him die, did they, really?
Well, they did. They said he had died, and Edith said he had died, but I, again, don't buy it. Because it's Mysterio, and everything's an illusion. But you see the guy download something to a USB key just before. It's a very flash second scene. And I thought that's significant because they made a point of it. So I knew something was coming. I did like seeing Spider-Man in London. I'm sorry, I genuinely did. I thought it was really quite cool. My wife really enjoyed
There's
it.
the Tower of London there, and they went in it.
Them really enjoyed it because that whole scene on the bridge, she'd been up on that bridge and could remember it, and so she enjoyed seeing that. And it was kind of cool seeing Nick Fury, not Nick Fury, in the Shard. I thought that was quite cool. It was cool to have it in London for once.
I think they probably felt they've done quite a few movies with Marvel stuff going on over in the US. So let's try and appease a few Europeans who love Marvel.
There was a plan to always have a Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was going to have scenes in London. Had the film been
Yeah.
made, that was Sony's
So
influence
where were
rather
they?
than the MCU.
They went a little bit in Netherlands, and they couldn't stop he couldn't stop saying how lovely the people were there because they were all very helpful. Even the people in the prison who were in jail with him.
That was funny.
That was funny.
That was a funny scene. I did enjoy that.
Yeah. And then they were in Prague, and they kept talking about Paris, but never really went. But then they were talking about where were they? They were in Venice, and then also in London. So that's 5 places that they've sort of ticked off the bucket list to sort of get maybe a little bit more interest.
I mean, the film is not without its issues. I think Gareth is right in the fact that Endgame should have been the final Phase 3 movie. I don't think this works as a final Phase 3 movie. I think it should have been a Phase 4 starting movie. Because it really is where the MCU is going. You know, Peter Parker's going to kind of be the new Tony Stark. That's how they're setting it up.
They showed that in the with him setting up his new suit. The way he was building his new suit in the plane, it was exactly the same way as what Tony Stark was doing when he was looking at components, how to break it down, how to build things, all that sort of stuff. So they sort of, I didn't mind that. I thought that was quite good the way they showed that.
I liked Happy in this. Again, I liked Happy in this. I liked Happy being his kind of mentor in a way. But I like John Favreau's Happy, and you know, I like the fact that Happy was in this again.
And his, I can see him. Parks the fucking thing. He's going, quick, let's get to the ship. And they're like, you got a ship? You work for Spider-Man? No, I work with him. Okay, well, fine. And then they turn and they fucking blow up the ship. Immediately in my head, I've gone to the Lego Movie. Where they're
with Wonder Woman. Yes, thank you. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you.
My head just went there, and I've gone, oh, get to the ship. Oh, fuck. Okay, get to mine. It's invisible. Bang. Fuck.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Having said what I did, though, about London, the final scene at the end, seeing him swinging in New York, because you suddenly realise, hang on, we actually haven't seen this version of Spider-Man swinging through New York. We've seen him swinging through Queens. We've seen him swinging through Brooklyn. We've never actually seen him swinging through fucking New York. So he does at the end, and that's kind of cool. That is actually...
I like the way he took her for a ride. And
she
was
shot
like,
herself.
Yeah, never doing that again.
That was kind of refreshing as well. Although I think they are... That dream scene is shadowing. I think they're going to kill her in the 3rd movie. They're going to do a
what dream scene?
Well, where she falls is the night of Gwen Stacy. The night Gwen Stacy dies. It's that whole thing, because you saw that in Amazing Spider-Man 2 where she died. She dies the same way in the comics. She falls. The same thing happens with MJ in that dream sequence where she falls and her back is arched and he grabs her, but she doesn't die in that. That felt like foreshadowing.
Are you talking MJ in this one? She fell.
Yes, the MJ when he's meant to be in Prague with Mysterio, which by the way is London. that building that is so famous. It's such a famous landmark because it's in every fucking BBC drama. They've used it in so many films. It was so obvious that it's in London. That's that whole sort of weird fucking drug-induced Mysterio weird thing, and you know the bit where you see the zombie Iron Man. There's a bit where MJ falls, and it is very specifically Gwen Stacy like.
Oh yeah, where he really fucks his head up.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Was it up by the bridge?
Yes.
And did you have Hobgoblin there?
No, you don't see that, but it's the way she falls and the way her back is arched. It's very. It felt. I might be wrong, Gareth, but it felt kind of foreshadowy.
Okay.
Just like it might have just been a little nod to people going, oh, that was a bit like Gwen Stacy, a bit like, you know, zombie Iron Man, because there was a zombie Iron Man thing in the comics.
Yeah, they got to really fuck Spider-Man up. He went over the top, didn't he, man? He really really put shit into his head, like with his illusions and whatnot. And fuck me, the kids either side. I was sat in the middle of my kids, and they were a bit fucking terrified actually. So, and I'm sitting here looking at them, going, "Fuck me, they're covering their face."
Yeah, it
Do you know
was
what I mean?
quite. It is quite. It was quite scary, and it's extended. It does go on for quite a while.
It goes on for a bit.
Yeah.
And just when he thinks it's over, nope.
Yeah.
And that's how he ended up in Holland.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed this. I will admit that if it was a full-on Spider-Man film, the way you think Gareth thinks a Spider-Man film should be, I probably would have enjoyed it more. But this is the Spider-Man that we've got, and it wasn't a bad film. It was better than Homecoming.
Hang on a second. You don't get the Spider-Man that you want. You get the Spider-Man that you need.
Well, you might be right. Look,
I'm Batman.
I was just about to say, I'm surprised somebody didn't call out, "My mum's name's Martha too."
Uncle Ben. I've got Uncle Ben, and he's holding some rice up.
Some rice, yeah.
Nah, look, I had fun. I thought it was watchable. I liked a lot of the jokes in it. I liked the sort of really bad tribute at the beginning, the sort of school reporting tribute at the beginning. I think the 5-year blip, as they're calling it, is a huge problem. I still maintain that is the worst thing about Endgame, because it just does not make sense, and it should have been wiped out. And the fact that they haven't done means,
or it should have been a year.
Yeah, but even so, right?
A year blip.
They deal with this
in
in a really funny way, but they did something in this film which increases the issue, is that people just blip back exactly where they were. So what about all the people that were flying over the fucking Atlantic?
What about those people who were in the middle of squeezing one out on a toilet somewhere, and that toilet no longer exists? They just shit itself.
But if they blipped back exactly where they were, you could have, if they're 40,000 feet in the sky, which makes the whole Tony Stark decision, bring them back now, not 5 years, not 5 years ago, the most selfish and stupid decision. It just makes Tony Stark cunt. And
he's actually killed far more people doing that.
Yes. This 5-year thing really, really doesn't work. And this film emphasizes that. That's my biggest bug about this film.
Actually, they did, because May was doing some sort of speech thing for the blippers, or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
And she actually mentions how she was one of the blipped. And when she was blipped, she was in her apartment. And when she came back 5 years later, somebody else owned the apartment, and she stood there in the middle of her apartment, and there was a family in there, not knowing who the fuck she was. And the wife of the husband thought that she was a mistress of the husband, and arguments fucking broke out, and the grandma was there, and she thought she was a ghost. And sort of, you can imagine, that would probably make sense if it was a 5-year blip thing. And they were showing footage of people just appearing back, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem. It's the fact that they're just not... I mean, as I said, they've completely ignored it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which really pisses me off, because they banged on about this being in the MCU, and then they've just ignored it, and they haven't even explained it. That's what really annoys me. I mean, this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been good, but they haven't explained that. Maybe they will at the end, but it just doesn't work. There's another continuity issue as well. Gaz, the suit, the Iron Man's sort of the Iron Spider suit. It's not a nanite suit in Endgame, is it? And Infinity War. I didn't miss something.
Yeah, it is a nanite suit.
I thought it was in like a pack, and it does it envelop over him, or
it's a nanite suit. It's a nanite suit.
Oh, it's a nanite suit. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It comes in full blown chunks rather than like liquid.
Yeah, but it is liquid in this. because you see it in a case in a liquid sort of nanite form.
Well, it's weird because he throws it at him. If you remember, if I remember correctly,
Yeah,
well,
it
doesn't throw it.
fires
He kind
out.
of launches it. It
Yeah.
launches at him like a fucking rocket, and then goes around him. But the suit that they showed at the end of Homecoming, it was regular suit at that point. I don't know. I don't think that's your biggest problem, Keith.
Go on then. Go on, have your say. Go on.
No, I'm not. I could. Right. First things first. It's in the advert, and I didn't realise it until I watched someone do a review of why Spider-Man 2 may be the greatest fucking superhero movie of all time. And it might be the greatest superhero film of all time. Spider-Man takes time off to go on holiday. Spider-Man does not take time off because bad things happen when he fucking isn't around. That's really fucking selfish. Spider-Man is selfless, not selfish. That fucking betrayed the character in the first fucking God knows how many minutes of this film. That, now I think about it, that grates on me. And it only when I watched that review of that Spider-Man 2 film, I realised that. Because in Spider-Man 2, he didn't have any powers, he tried saving people. Didn't do a very good job of it, but he tried saving people. The burning building, yeah, remember that he runs in there, saves the kid, comes out because some poor bastard got it up on the 3rd floor. Yeah, still wanted to do that without his powers and whatnot. It's not set in New York. Spider-Man's is like a weird. He's like the highest level street superhero that you get. Yeah, he's on that level. He's not international. Doesn't do Captain fucking Marvel, all that nonsense. He is primarily New York. Yeah, the only time he's disappeared from New York was when to go meet the X-Men, see if he was a fucking mutant. So yeah, that's that pissed me off. Something chronic. Yeah.
I think they say in the film he's talking to Fury, or we know he isn't Fury, that he doesn't feel that he is Avengers level. He says, "I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I should just be fucking,
Gareth's right.
doing my thing."
Gareth's right though. He is right on that. The character in Spider-Man 2, he is absolutely right on that. It does kind of portray the character of Spider-Man a bit. It does. I still like this movie, but I get where Gareth's coming from.
It's not because you've got that, yeah, right, and then you've got the thing with Nick Fury where he hangs up on Nick Fury. He'd never hang. The only time he'd hang up on, actually, he wouldn't even hang up on someone in the middle of a fight. And you've played the Spider-Man game recently, and they've done that where he's been in the middle of a fight, and it's like, what are you doing?
The Spider-Man
Nothing.
The Spider-Mans that we've seen in the latter comics, yes, but this is a 16-year-old boy, so there is that argument there. That's
my next problem. That's my next problem. Can we have a fucking Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I want Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's what I want. I want Spider-Man. I'm tired. You talked about not making the fucking same mistakes twice. We know Spider-Man's origin and whatnot, yeah? We can touch on it if we need to. Make him full-blown fucking Spider-Man. And Spider-Man makes his own stuff. He doesn't use Tony Stark tech. He doesn't use his fucking building things. He doesn't use his computer. He does it all himself. He may steal a few things here and there, yeah? The Fantastic Four may have helped him out with a few components, but he always did it himself. And that was one thing. He did have a level of fucking mechanical engineering that was quite superior to other people. And apparently he had some insight on how to make fucking spider juice.
But he does make his own webbing in this. It's just it's developed more. He is helped by Iron Man, but he does make his own web shooters. But he should make all his own. He should make all his own. Oh,
stuff.
I agree, but he does then make his own suit in this. He does make his own suit, but yes, he doesn't need.
The thing is with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's pretty much a loner. He doesn't really like working with other people. He's tried it. It hasn't quite worked.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like He's the closest DC character to him is Batman, because Batman don't like working with people. Even when he does work with people, he don't like working with people. Yeah. So I know
in the game, doesn't he work? He wants to work with Yuri the police chief.
No, he's using Yuri. He wants to go and become a policeman, kind of thing. That's the joke, but that's always been Spider-Man's kind of character. But when he's coming to saving people and being superhero-y, no, he's a loner because too many people die around him. That's the whole point. The whole Uncle Ben dying around him and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so he wants to keep everyone safe and away from it. There's only a few people he would work with, and usually uneasy bedfellows, shall we say?
Huh.
So it's like kind of he could have called on the Avengers to help him in that fucking game, and he didn't. Everyone all in his own.
I mean, Gareth, I'll say this: it was Gareth that really got. I always used to like Spider-Man, but it was you that got me into it. And it was you that because I started collecting Spider-Man comics because of you. I remember because we were all working at Coney at the time, and it was when the first film came out, and you went berserk about this. Oh, you don't know anything about it. You got to learn about Spider-Man. So I got this education into Spider-Man, and he is now my favorite. He is my favorite superhero as well. Is this the Phantom Menace effect? Slightly, potentially, maybe. It's the Spider-Man that we've got at the moment, so I'm trying to enjoy it without getting too grated by it. And yeah, I agree with you. In some respects, I want a full-on Spider-Man, but I think that the MCU should have gone with Miles Morales. I still think they should have done that.
That would have been their way of getting around it. To have let Sony have Peter Parker and all the related stuff, and then let Marvel. You see,
this is why I find all of this fucking woke bullshit utterly fake, and Disney making Ariel into a black person. You had the perfect fucking opportunity to do this 3 years ago, and you didn't do it, and it was about money. Because at the end of the day, you thought before Black Panther that a black superhero would not make as much money as Peter Parker. That is the sole fucking reason that they decided to go with another version of Peter Parker. It's the absolute truth. And it's bullshit, because actually Miles Morales was in Into the Spider-Verse, and that's probably the second best Spider-Man film of all time.
Yeah. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it genuinely is a fucking brilliant film. I've watched it twice, and I watched it again today. Today I watched it, and I loved it. I watched it the first time, but I was watching it when I was doing some work, and I actually sat down and concentrated on it today, and I went, do you know what? This is really fucking good. And it much more nailed the characters of Spider-Man than thing. And Miles was great in there. And there's your Spider-Boy. You could have done that. And there's your progressiveness that all these people are banging on about at the moment. You could have done it 3 years ago and led the fucking way. And I don't know why they didn't. It makes so much sense. Then you wouldn't have had people bitching and moaning about reboot fatigue.
See, the other part of it too is that you could have had it so they could have had a crossover with the Spider-Man from the Sony universe too.
Exactly.
And then it's so much money. Oh, well. They clearly know what they're doing.
People have been mocking up posters with Tom Holland's character, with Tobey Maguire, and the one in the middle, which I can't remember his name. Andrew Garfield's character, yeah. They've been mocking him up in the same poster. Spider-Verse, man, could have happened.
You see, I kind of feel sorry for Andrew Garfield, because I think he was hard done by. And he voiced his concerns on the second one when all the producers got involved and tried to start building universes, and it didn't work. But the thing about Andrew Garfield was he was a proper Spider-Man fan, and still is a Spider-Man fan. And he was the
just a quick one. Who's the main guy who fucked up that universe?
Alex Kurtzman.
What other universes has he fucked up?
Star Trek, funny enough.
And the Universal Dark Universe that we're supposed to have.
Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah.
I wonder what.
I don't know why.
There's a thing he's running there, Gareth.
I'm just gonna. Right. This is the thing now. Is I'm gonna just take you off on a tangent. Yeah, because we all know that J.J. Abrams. Is now part of. He's going to be part of DC. So part of Warner Brothers, and he's going to get his fucking mitts into DC. And the worst thing is that DC started getting good.
Yeah.
It was building, and he's gonna come in and he's gonna fuck the whole thing up. I liked you, DC. I wish I'd have known you better.
I was enjoying the last few DC movies. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I'm still looking forward to the next Suicide Squad. I think that might be quite good under James Gunn. But I think after that we're shagged. I think you're right.
Wonder Woman, the last after Wonder Woman, that's it.
Yeah, 1984 could probably be good. The last one was good. Yeah, no, you could be right there.
Yeah, I think
But
he shouldn't be allowed anywhere in fucking Hollywood.
Yep. He's got his hands on the Spider-Man comic at the moment as well. You know that as well. They're doing a Spider-Man.
And people have gone, what the fuck are you letting a fucking unseasoned person do this? This is like
J.J. Abrams' son. You know, it's his son. That whole launch video is... You look at that kid and you think, just how fucking privileged are you? I mean...
That's fucking nepotism. I hate it.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're utterly right on that. Anyway, we've talked about this far too long. Let's talk about Stranger Things Season 3, which was fucking cool. How do you not like this?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it wasn't as good as 1 and 2. It's good, but not as good as 1 and 2.
I've not seen Season 2 or Season 3. I've seen one episode of Season 2. I'm just going to remove my earpiece because I don't want to get spoilers. I will watch a bit soon.
Okay.
So wave at me or something when you're all finished, because otherwise I'm going to ruin it for myself, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I want to hear your argument. Because I think Season 3 is better than Season 2. Because I think Season 2 was a slight rehash of Season 1.
Right, okay. First things first, all right. There is like a supernatural tone which emanates from the Upside Down. Yeah?
Yeah.
You got hardly any Upside Down in this.
True.
Yeah? Yeah, so that kind of threat hanging over it, having the government listen in and be the spies and stuff from the first and the second one, you had that kind of that threat that kind of peered over him. You didn't know if Hawkins was good or bad. Yeah, the Russians weren't really doing that. They were hiding away in their little tunnels. There was no kind of outside external threat other than the mind flare. Okay, the camera setups went straight to digital because you couldn't see any film grain or any shit like that on it. And it didn't even try to make it look like it was filmed on an 80s camera. So it gave you a very super clean... Yeah, the image was super clean, super bright. Everything looked studio lit rather than set lit. Do you know what I mean when I say studio lit?
Yes.
As in you got when you do the set lit, it's like kind of you use cameras, you flash a light through the window, etc. So all the lighting looked out, so it all looked studio, so it looked a little bit faker. Admittedly, they did have bits where they were outside and they were on sets, like the set for the mall was definitely not studio lit. The kids, not as cute as they were because they're grown up.
Yeah,
Mike's
really fucking dull now.
Yeah, all right. And Mike 11 were fucking obnoxious. I didn't like them. I really didn't like them. I really was like, this. Fuck them. Sorry. It's like kind of we'll buy a rocket launcher. That will solve most of our problems. We don't need 11. Yeah, we'll buy a fucking rocket launcher. So I lost that with two of the characters that I liked in the previous episodes. That was one thing that got me. Billy, I liked him as a bad guy. He was a good bad guy. You felt sorry for him. Because he started off as an arsehole, and then you kind of realised kind of his upbringing and stuff that's made him into an arsehole. But we knew that in the previous season, but they expanded on that. Which kind of seemed a little superfluous. Thank you, helicopter, you bastard. It's alright.
Yeah.
So, hang on a second. Just wait for the chopper to pass.
Is it them flying piggies?
No, it's what you call it.
Why? God, that's loud.
It's military. I think it's Chinook.
That would explain its loudness.
Yes. Anywho. So the kids were obnoxious. They split them up, so you had
I didn't like
Steve and you had Steve and Steve, Robin, Erica, and Dustin. They were the best.
Yes.
I loved them. I every time they came on the screen, I had a biggest fucking grin on my
I
face.
liked Dustin, and I loved his little never-ending story. That was fucking brilliant. That was so good. I really did like that. Because I know that song. Because it was one of the first films I saw in the cinema. I know that song, and it all came back to me. The whole thing, the words. I'm sitting there singing. I'm sitting there, sort of absent-mindedly singing along to it and knowing the words. I was like, oh my god, I remember this.
Anyway, what was it? They split the kids up, which I didn't like. There was too much humor with Hopper. Yeah. Which kind of took away from the kind of imminent threat. It's all right at the beginning of it, so that first third you can get away with it, but after that, it detracted. The bit where he's having a fight with the Russian, that was just odd. And then the Todd father, and it was like the humor wasn't. To put humor in horror is very hard. Yeah, you have to be very clever in the way that you do it. That wasn't done very well. I'm not right now. This is the thing. I do like it. All right, it's in the fucking ballpark for the TV show. Okay, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't feel it was good as 1 and 2. Okay, I felt 1 and 2 had there's a continuity to 1 and 2, which it seemed to have been lost on 3. Both with production values and characters and all that feel that was kind of missing. It was good. The kids, as I said, Dustin, Steve, Robin, and Erica. I fucking loved Erica. Erica was brilliant. It goes, you can't spell America without Erica. I love that.
She's such a little shit. She was brilliant. She was.
And
good.
I love the way they made her anti-communist by making her pro-capitalist. And she says that in the tunnels down below when she's talking to Dustin, when they're talking about you don't pay people to do this stuff, you do get a shit job done. Yeah, and I love that. The fact that they killed Hopper off.
Did they?
And no, hang on a second. They killed Hopper off. They used the music from from Will's death. Yeah. Then they didn't play that music completely. Right, threw me the fuck off because I love that piece of music, the Peter Gabriel's version of Heroes. Apparently, David Bowie hated it. I don't know why. It's I think it's better than the original. That's probably why he hated it. And they did that, and they played it to try and make out the Hopper had died. And then then at the end, they turn around and he goes, "No, not the American." Because what he'd done, is he went, "I could stay here and get blown up with the thing, or I could jump through the dimensional hole that's being breached in the wall as we speak. I'm going through the hole." So he jumped through the hole, and clearly he popped out with a Demogorgon on the other side. The question is, has it changed him? And the question is when they do Stranger Things 4, is it going to be Hopper in Russia, trying to seal up their fucking gate?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I didn't buy Hopper's dead. He's one of the big stars of the show. I didn't believe they killed off Hopper, and that sort of post-credit sting, which is a first for Stranger Things, that was the same base that we saw them attempting to open it in the first episode.
In the very beginning, yeah. They clearly opened it.
And when they went, not the American, I was like, no, that's Hopper in there. Yeah, I don't buy Hopper's dead.
This is the thing, is I reckon what they were trying to do with the gateway was they were supposed to open one in Russia and one in the States, so they could travel via to invade, without issue. And I think that wasn't quite explained. They didn't explain the chemicals the flavour.
I think they purposefully haven't done that because they're holding it over for season 4. They're doing a season 4.
Can I fucking finish? Let me finish.
Okay.
They didn't explain the chemicals that the Flayed were eating. Yeah, so the Flayed were eating chemicals and they were creating something. Yeah, we never got to see what that creation was. So did the fucking Mind Flayer leave a load of like green orb things, like the same shit that the Russians were using to power their thingy? And what the fuck were the Russians using to power it? Because that wasn't radioactive, that wasn't chemical, that was something else. And where did they get that from?
It's also interesting that 11 hasn't got her powers, therefore she's not sensing Hopper. So I think when her powers come back, she's going to suddenly sense Hopper, and somehow we're going to get this. It's going to be beyond Hawkins next season. Obviously, it's going to be more of an international thing. I know what you're saying, but I think they have to change it up. and I think they did a good job of this. I liked the mall setting. I liked a lot of this season. You're right about Eleven and Mike being obnoxious towards Hopper. I thought that was a bit, but there are kids at that particular age. I totally agree with you. I love how Steve has become. Steve was an absolute asshole in the first season, and now you love him. You genuinely do.
Yes, you do.
And I loved his team up with the girl who fancied him, but then turned out to be a lesbian. But that actually worked. I like the fact that he's got like this friendship with her that really does work, and the friendship with what's his face as well. I loved it. I genuinely thought it developed their characters really well this season, and therefore maybe if I go back and watch season 2 again, I might change my mind. I genuinely enjoyed season.
No, that I watched season 1 and 2 back to back, and then watched 3. So it was, for me, there was a level of continuity that I was watching.
Right.
It to have
okay, that might explain it, and it might be that because I haven't seen season 2 for a while. Watching this was just getting back to something I really, really love, and I love Stranger Things. It's just it's my fucking era, and it's all the fucking it's the Goonies with horror and sci-fi shit, and I love the bloody Goonies. I mean, I liked this. I don't like how they took Dustin and split him up from the rest, but I did like Steve, Eric, and Dustin together. That was like genuinely quite cool. They don't know what to do with Will. They should have killed off Will.
I think Will. No, they did know what to do with Will, but it didn't have enough for a whole series. If that made sense,
Yeah.
There was enough there. There was enough there to take them up until the point that they realized the Mind Flayer was a problem, and then after that, that's when because it was like he was trying to go back to where they'd been, and he wanted to carry on being what he wanted, and that showing that they'd moved on made you feel a bit sorry for him, and then when he realized the Mind Flayer was back, after that, he was a bit.
But I totally agree with you on Hopper. I had exactly the same thought as you. When I just no, Hopper's not dead. I just didn't buy it. Even before we saw that cut scene, I was like, no, he's not dead. I just don't buy it.
I'll be honest with you. I was waiting for him to watch him get dissolved by the thing like everyone else did. Yeah,
it's all purposefully done. There's lots not explained. They've left a lot hanging over for season 4. You've got that fucking scene at the end, like there isn't. It's one of the most watched fucking things on Netflix. It's certainly one of the most talked about things. It's got a season 4. I mean, that's a dead set. Certainly, it's basically probably up to when the Duffer Brothers end it, because Netflix are going to just go, make more.
Yeah. So it's depending what they do, because having them all get split up at the end, I have no idea why Joyce did not fucking leave Hawkins after the second season. Yeah, I understood why she stayed at Hawkins, because the people running the lab were doing tests on Will to make sure he was okay. But as soon as the lab closed, fuck off.
but this is the thing. Yeah, I didn't like. That's one thing I'm bothered about, her leaving at the end of season 3, because I thought that was really bad. Because obviously, her eldest son is in quite a serious relationship with the what's her face, and just splitting all the kids up. It didn't work for me. It's like, why are you leaving now? You've killed it now. You've done it. Why leave now? Move house, yeah. Move to a bit of a dip, but splitting up all the kids doesn't. No, it didn't work for me. It didn't. That's the only bit that I just didn't get the motivation for that. That would you really do that to all your kids? That all those kids are such a tight pack. So that didn't work for me. But I dare say that that's obviously going to have some kind of resolution. But again, they've split up. That means that the kids are going to be split up again in season 4, and I want them back together because
All right. Okay. Next question: how many references to 80s films did you spot?
Oh, well, there's fucking loads.
Yeah, how many did you spot?
I don't know. I can't count them. I noticed so many things. I mean, there's all the obvious ones. There's Terminator.
Right, so Terminator for the Russian guy.
Yeah, blatantly. Yeah.
There was the thing in the hospital. Yeah.
Yes.
The thing.
Yes.
And it happened in the hospital. There was the 1980s make of the Blob.
Yes.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
That game that was in the hospital. The thing was some Stephen King thing with the rats. Fuck. I knew it. I spoke to Alex about it yesterday. But there was something to do with the rats. And Mallrats was another one.
Yes, there was a Mallrats reference in there. Yeah.
But there was loads of those
But the Terminator one was an obvious, especially the bit where he comes out holding the gun going... I was like, oh, come on, you can't get more. I mean, the guy even had a slight Russian stroke Austrian accent.
Yeah, and it's weird because like Hopper's like skill is, what do you call it? He's shit with a gun, but he can punch people, and he's the one person he couldn't fucking deck.
Yeah,
Hopper could fight, but he couldn't shoot for shit, but he could fight.
But he does shoot those people when he comes out the lift, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he does it in that fucking haphazard way.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah. No. Yeah, no. I there were so many references in there, so many, but their attention to detail is amazing. I mean, even in this, you might be right about the studio lighting and bits like that, but their attention to actual detail was, I loved the little sort of Back to the Future bits in it as well. That was really cool. And running through the cinema and stuff like that. It's 80s and it's maybe if I go back and watch season 1 and 2, I might agree with you. I still think it was good. I don't think it was bad. I think.
Oh no, that's what people. That's what pissed me off when I was having a conversation with not my older brother, the oldest brother, who isn't me, the second oldest. And he was like, he thought that I didn't like it. It's like, no, it's not like I don't like it. I just don't think it's as good as those ones.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is probably the wait.
Yes, I think it's been too long. We should bloody get a season 4 quickly, I hope.
Next Halloween, season 4 would be fine.
It's kind of stopped me because I got into Peaky Blinders and I've been watching that on Netflix recently, which is really fucking good. I don't know how I have not watched this before. I've stopped that and I've watched it and I've actually nearly finished watching it twice over already. I loved it that much. It's genuinely brilliant.
Okay.
So, no, Stranger Things 3, season 3. I like it. I kind of see where you're coming through, but I think if you're a Stranger Things fan, you ain't going to be disappointed by this. It's good.
Yeah. I think it's a solid, unquestionable 8.
Best thing that's come out on Netflix this year, I think. If I'm from
yes, it has.
I'm not forgetting.
One thing I was wondering about is when fucking Lost in Space comes back.
Well, yes. It's obviously
it was supposed to be back May.
It is coming. It is coming. It is in production. But yes, Lost in Space was also generally good.
If Toby Stephens isn't in that, then Hollywood has something against gingers. All right, it's official.
Talking of gingers,
if Toby Stephens isn't, it gets killed.
Should we wave him back in? Come back to us, Birdseye. Come back to us.
Hello.
And here comes the dove from above.
Cuckoo! Cuckoo!
Good job you didn't say seagull, or otherwise I'll be shitting all over you.
What was that film with David Duchovny and the flying aliens thing, and you had Sean William Scott in the mall calling the flying one. He was going, "Here, doggy, doggy, doggy." That was it.
Yeah, Evolution. Yeah.
Here, doggy, doggy. That scene still fucking cranks me up. Anyway, you wanted to talk about games.
Games, yes.
Yeah.
And we'll finish off with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Okay, alright. So, PS Plus. We're talking about PS Plus because PS Plus was supposed to have PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, for those who don't know what PES is. And maybe confusing it with the dispenser of those sugary tablets. So yeah, it was supposed to have PES. Don't blow your nose on Mike!
Why'd you do that?
What'd you blow your nose on Mike for?
Clearly not.
You blew your nose on Mike. You're editing that. You're editing that out. We can hear you.
How can you hear me?
You're not running through your mic, mate. You're running through your headset.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I had the microphone on mute, so it's not recorded it.
Okay, that's fine then.
Oh,
but from us, you walked away. You blew your nose and you blew my fucking eardrums out at the same time.
Yep.
Just never blow your nose. I'm gonna blow my nose on fucking mic now. I can't. There's nothing to blow. Okay, so we were supposed to get PES for PlayStation Plus, and then it was changed at the last minute to Detroit Become Human, which is great because I wanted to play Detroit Become Human, but I didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah. Go figure.
That's the truth. I wanted it, but I didn't want to pay for it. So, this is fucking a small boon for me because I wanted to play it and see what it's like. And yeah, it's
personally, I'm in the same boat because when I saw Pez on the listing alongside some other fucking car game, I sat there and went, I'll probably skip this month. You know, I might download it. I might register it just to register it, so they've got to pay for something that I'm never going to use. But then, when they switched it last minute, I looked at it and went, that is a game I had my eye on, and I'm really pleased it's now free. And especially as it comes with Heavy Rain.
Yes. Keith, just a quick one. Did you get my message?
Yes.
Okay. So
that's
we're
why I
check
was laughing at you.
I'm going to show you the plate because I've got both trophies because reasons.
Of course you have. Of course.
One on a completion.
Gareth, if you didn't, I wouldn't be very impressed.
Okay.
Anywho, if I get one of them.
No. There's one trophy. Keith, sorry, Nigel. There's one trophy in Stranger Things in Heavy Rain that I reckon you'll get, but you won't want the kids around when you get it.
Right.
Awesome. It's fucking awesome. All right. It's not that I'm building that up way much more. It is, but it's always one of those ones that people who played Heavy Rain, I'd always just pop onto their compare trophies just to see if they'd done it. I think like a subtitle underneath this, but it doesn't work on a podcast. So yes, Detroit Become Human. It's they're like more sophisticated Telltale games, which is a good thing because they do have consequences at the end. And I remember in the when I played Heavy Rain, using this as an example because I haven't played Detroit Become Human yet. I managed to. I think I played it, and I was on a diet of first-person shooters, and I think I played 6 first-person shooters in a row, and I was fucking sick of them. And I wanted to play Heavy Rain, so I got Heavy Rain, played Heavy Rain, and just the sheer change of pace made me enjoy it. It's not a great game, yeah, it's not a fucking great game, but if you're dying for something that's a bit different, just to kind of wash the taste of FPSs out your gob, it's a pretty good choice. It'll keep you busy for like 3 days, enough to get yourself back to whatnot, to like kind of like reset. But sorry, but. It was good and I enjoyed it. So
Detroit, do you remember they put out a trailer and it's of like a rooftop scene with an android and so you actually play that scene right at the beginning.
Yes,
it is right.
I gathered that would happen. It's weird because before Detroit Become Human, they had a tech demo for a thing called Kara.
Oh,
she's
yes.
She's one of the androids in it, and the idea is that the system was putting the android together, and then all of a sudden the android became self-aware. Yeah. And he went, I have to destroy you. And he went, no, you can't destroy me. And just literally just started, and it's like, you know what? If you keep quiet, everything will be fine. So keep quiet, and then released her out into the world, and it looked like the system had been doing that for a lot of other androids. So you've got a lot of ones. The problem is you don't know if they're what's referred to as zombies, and it's more of a programmed response than a natural response. Yeah, so you can program something to go, oh no, don't kill me. But other things that learn, no, I don't want to die, are different to those, and that's where you have this AI thing they refer to as zombies, where they'll sit there and they go through the motions of it, but it's not really, it's part of programming. So I don't know if they'll cover that in Detroit Become Human. I don't know if it'd be that sophisticated. It would be nice to see if that's the case and that kind of option pops up.
So you play as Kara in this as well as one of the storylines.
One of the storylines you've got. I think you've got
3 at least. I don't know if there's more.
You've got the revolutionary fella.
The what?
Looks like the revolutionary fella who looks a bit like the guy Ajax from.
He's a prototype, yeah.
Yeah, from Deadpool. That's what it looks like. And then you've got the protocol droid who works for the police, who's from that rooftop gun thing. And then you've got the bloke with his daughter and the android in the house, which is the Kara model.
Kara.
It looks interesting, and it's one of those ones really that's just like a curious. Yeah, it's just a fucking sheer change of pace, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you know what? It is a change of pace because I was playing Spider-Man, like I mentioned earlier, and I thought do you know what? I've just finished this mission, and then I'm just gonna have a go on this game. And it was such a change of pace, but it's fantastic because, yeah, you've got I think 3, but there might be a 4th actually. Thinking about it, where what they're doing is, like you say, they are becoming self-aware, and they're calling them is deviant. And so the deviant ones are becoming self-aware because they're no longer following their programming and what they're told to do. And there is a couple of them, like there's an old artist and a guy who's I think it's Marcus, his name of droid is, and he's just helping this old guy in a wheelchair and all that sort of stuff. And there's a bit where he breaks through his programming in order to save someone. So he's told to do something, and when they're told to do something, they literally just do it. So he's told to sort of stand by and don't do anything, and you can choose to follow that route or not. And then obviously that will make, I don't want to say too much because you haven't played it yet, but then it does go into a little bit later.
It's alright, the police are going now. The police are going over my head.
Yeah, they heard you talking about androids. They won't have you fucking talking about that. They're secrets. And so when then they've got this prototype droid who is assisting the police. He's actually working for the Cyberlife, I think they call it, the people who create these androids, and he has been put here as the most advanced android that they've ever put together, and you use him to put together clues and stuff like that to build a picture and sort of render so you go to a situation and you see like a crime scene, and then you can find all the clues, and then you can put that together, and he can play it back in his mind as to what happened in the lead up to the bit that you can see, which I thought was pretty cool. I like that, the way they piece it together, and then you can see it in his mind's eye, and then that might unlock something else for you to then progress with, to find a clue for something else, and so forth and so forth. And it really does work like that. And you can miss things. So at the end of each chapter, we'll call them, you get a flow chart to show you your route to the end of the chapter, and then it will also show the spider graph of what you've missed in that chapter. So you can look at that and go, oh, so if I chose the other option there, I would have had a whole different route of where I could have gone. And they recommend, actually, if you go to the main menu, and then you can see chapters, and then you go there, and it will say to you, you can replay any chapter you want in any fashion you want. However, we recommend you finish the game first and then go back over and do things a different way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you've got this whole storyline that you've sort of fucked around with back in the start, and then it's not. You might as well do it that way. So everything you've done in one playthrough is that, and then you can go back and see what the other things are. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And
no.
I really like that. I really do like that, because it gives you an idea of actually that choice that you made here has took you off this branch and onto this one, and that's why that's happened. So, and then down that branch, actually, there was another couple of choices that you had, which you've chose, and you've gone down here. Whereas had you chose this something back here, a whole different story would have played out in a different way. I really think that's fucking brilliant, because you compare that to Telltale, and you can do whatever you like, and you'll get the same outcome. It's the illusion of a choice, whereas this one is actually a choice. And we've banged on about Telltale quite a bit, and I think this is refreshing. I think it's really, really good. And so far, what I've played, I really do like it. And
Well, that's what you call it. Let's get to the end of the game and see if it is, because I know that the heavy
Yeah.
rain, most of the consequences seem really inconsequential until you get to the end. So there's like
Right.
there was one bit in heavy rain where I had to kill someone. Yeah. So it forces you to kill someone, but I was like, I ain't killing anyone. That's just dumb. And then I didn't, and then I didn't have enough of the location to find my son. Not my actual son.
In the game.
In the game, yeah.
He's fucking next to me. I was playing with him. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this goes, because it is a whole different pace to Spider-Man and God of War, for example, which is what I've been playing recently, and I am looking forward to it's the first PS Plus game in a long while, actually, since Rocket League, that I've been eager to play it. It's actually a good game.
You haven't got Beyond Two Souls with it, have you?
No, that didn't come with it. I know they're doing. You can buy Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain together as a physical disc.
I've got it.
It's a shame, really. People were speculating that you would get Beyond Two Souls. That would have been nice, but
yeah, that would have been.
I don't know.
Awesome that you got that.
I haven't played that either. Is it similar to these, or
exactly the same person doing exactly the same thing? So yeah.
See, that would have been good as well. That would have been good. Definitely. I think it's definitely a good choice on the part of Sony to switch it at the last minute. And you had a theory as to why they did this?
Yeah, there's a conflict. There's a slight conflict of interests because they're dealing with Konami. Mr. Kojima left Konami under a rather dark cloud, and he's bringing a game out pretty soon. And it might look bad for both parties. So it may be a more political / business arrangement where they were trying to not cause too much hassle, shall we say? Yeah. But yeah, and plus Konami is weird as fuck when it comes to things like that. They could be doing shit things behind.
If you
the
watch
scenes.
any of the trailers to that game, I think weird as fuck is an understatement.
That's not Konami. That's it.
That's just Kojima.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I'm talking about weird business practices.
Yeah,
Well,
weird
they are-
business
yeah,
practices.
Talking about not being allowed to keep the same email for more than 12 weeks.
That's weird, even in Japan.
Yeah.
That's weird, even in Japan.
is.
I mean, I know Japanese business is a strange thing to people outside of Japan, but that's weird, even by Japanese standards.
Yeah, that is fucking odd. What do they do? monkeynutpunch1@gmail.com, monkeynutpunch2@gmail. Do they just keep putting it up each time?
Yeah, it's
Fucking stupid. But hey, I think it's totally worth the download. I think it's totally worth your time to see if you do like it. I like the fact it flicks between a few characters. I like that. It shows you the point where Kara, for example, breaks through the programming, and why she breaks through the programming in order to become sentient, for example. So yeah, and they do make out that there are many more becoming deviant, is what they call them, becoming deviant, and this prototype droid is one of the ones that the company has made to hunt them down, essentially.
Blade Runner style.
To try and figure out what's going on to make them change, because it's becoming a little bit more of a recurrent. So they need to try and shut it down, because and obviously in the game you've got anti-android people. They've got people on the streets.
Don't want a jobs taken
preaching,
away.
all their jobs have been taken. Yeah, you've got my job, and all that sort of stuff. You've got buses which are segregated with humans and android sections. Makes sense, actually, because the androids could just stand. So
I'll be honest with you, you could have just packed them into a crate or something under the bus. They don't need to breathe.
no, it's when they're travelling. So you got your bus stops. The droids get on at the back of the bus, and they just stand in like little rows, and all the humans sit in the front of the bus in seats.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I would want a robotic monkey butler, little tiny monkey butler, like a robot, so he could go off and do things. Because you wouldn't be worrying about that trying to take over the world. It's just a monkey butler. That's
Until it becomes Planet of the Robot Apes.
yeah, the robot apes. Damn you to hell.
Definitely worth a shot. What was? I'm not even going to mention the other game because just looks shite. I've downloaded it, but
It's just a simple racing game. It's one of those ones you probably pay for like an hour, a couple of hours on Saturday, and then forget about.
yeah, definitely. What was the last thing, Keith? Was
We want to talk about theme parks and Galaxy's Edge because I'm looking for theme parks, and apparently the attendance to Disneyland and Disney World is down. It isn't to Universal, but Disneyland and Disney World is down.
Apparently, a lot of people are calling Galaxy's Edge a flop because you can get straight in. There aren't queues like there was meant to be. This was meant to be sold out for weeks. And people are saying, oh, it's Galaxy's Edge that's a flop. It's because all the people that hate the new Star Wars want this to fail. So they're all jumping on the cart of saying this is failing. But actually, the whole attendance to the entire park is down. And in California, I didn't know about the Florida. I don't know about the excuses. But in California, the people that are in the know, and Gareth sort of discussed this before we came on air. It's to do with the fact that they're keeping out all the season ticket holders.
And hang on a second. I just found there's a price hike as well.
There you go. So I'm not. Whilst I agree with a lot of what people are saying, I don't think this is definitive evidence that Galaxy's Edge is going to fail. I think it's down to Disney being dumb in California because most people visit that park are Americans, and the most people that visit that park are annual season ticket holders, and they've been blocked from coming to the park. Hence the reason why you don't get a lot of international visits to the one in California. They all go to the one in Orlando, which is the one that Gareth's going to, which is obviously a lot bigger, and there's more parks there. I didn't know about the Florida one being down. That's interesting. So I think it is the reason why a lot of people are not going to Galaxy's Edge, but I don't think this is definitive proof. And calling it a flop at this point, I don't think it's fair. I think it will be a flop.
Yeah.
I do think it will be a flop, but I don't think... we all thought nobody would go and see Captain Marvel, and it made over $1 billion fucking dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I don't know. It's...
There's a lot of YouTubers, and Gary Beekler has got something very, very wrong because he's banging on about the fact that this is Tom Holland's last Spider-Man movie. No, it's not. He has got one more.
Under Sony, though.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just looking at the ride times in the Magic Kingdom. All right, because I'm sad like that. I don't know what the time in Florida is, but the biggest wait time is a Seven Dwarfs mine cart. 135 minutes for that. Fuck me. Everything else is about 55 minutes for Peter Pan, 65 minutes for Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain. Everything else is about 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
And Galaxy's Edge you can get into.
No, this is Florida. I'm looking at Florida.
Oh, Florida. Wow. Well, that's so.
But then again, I don't know what the time is. It could be fucking literally just opened.
So
no, it wouldn't have been actually.
Yeah, all the main YouTubers that love to hate Star Wars, and don't get me wrong, I agree with a lot of what they say. I think they are being a bit premature at the moment by putting out these Galaxy's Edge as a flop. I'm seeing so many videos come up in my YouTube thing saying Galaxy's Edge is a flop. But then when you actually look into this, you discover that actually the visiting is down across the whole park, as I said. And yeah, it's you can't jump to that conclusion yet, although I think it will be. So
okay, just doing a comparison between Disney and Islands of Adventure at Universal. Jurassic Park River Ride, 90 minutes to get on the river ride. Poseidon's Fury, no, it's not Poseidon. Flight the Hippogriff, which is a fucking flying fish, 50 minutes. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, 75 minutes. I think that's the lowest that's ever been. Dudley Do Ropes Ripsaw Falls, 120 minutes for a vlog film that's been there for a good couple of years. The only place that everything's quiet is fucking Dr. Seuss' place. It's got Spider-Man 50 minutes, Incredible Hulk Coaster 40 minutes. So yeah, attendance is down at Disney World in Florida. And this is a weekend too. And it's 4th of July weekend to add to it.
That's true.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So fuck me, that's not good for Disney. Disney are pissing people off, I think.
Well, you saw what they
I mean,
did to that bloke in London that lost his 4-year-old kid. Have you heard that story?
What I would have said is I turn around and say publicly, the answer is no. Privately, if you do it, we ain't going to stop you.
What was that?
Kids, Dad's kids died, and he wanted to put Spider-Man on his tombstone. So he asked for permission because he's a nice person who obeys the rules, and they told him no.
They said that they want to keep Spider-Man's innocence.
What? Should have asked Sony and used the fucking movie image instead. Just Sony would have let him.
No, Spider-Man owned the right. Disney owned the rights to the image. Sony only owned the movie rights. They do not own the merchandise rights or the rights to the actual image. Disney own that.
They do own the rights to the image, but it's not quite as you think it is.
Yeah.
Um,
He had to put it on a tombstone. Disney owned those things. Basically, Disney's a cuntish company at the moment, and people are beginning to turn by the looks of it.
Yeah.
There is a lot. I think it is underestimated how many people are pissed at Star Wars. I think Episode 9 is going to have the lowest turnout of any of the main ones. But we'll see. We'll see. They might put out another trailer that just hooks everyone. I don't think the Emperor hooks on people. Go on.
I think I'd love to be in I can imagine being in a long queue full of like nerds and just turn around and go, "Do you remember this is the guy who fucked up Star Trek like that?" I mean, fucked up Star Trek. I went, yeah. You know, Rian Johnson may have fucked up the last Star Wars film, but him and his ilk are responsible for fucking up Star Trek, both in the cinema and on the main screen. And then they go and fuck up the DC universe too. And then they're like grumbling, and then everyone just leaves, and no one goes and watches the fucking film.
I think it's going to be interesting. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen at Christmas. I genuinely don't know if everybody's going to go and see it or not. I think there's going to be another trailer that's going to put out that's going to have more fucking hooks. You know, I think they're holding something back that we don't know about yet, and they're going to put it out, and all the fanboys are going to, they're going to try and appeal to the fanboys by, potentially showing us more Lando, but that's not. I don't think that's enough of a hook. We'll probably get some Luke Skywalker action of some description, maybe. I don't know.
You just Luke Skywalker action, huh? Yeah, like backdoor pilots or something.
I generally don't know. I mean, I generally don't know, because I didn't think people would go and see Captain Marvel, especially after the Rotten Tomato thing, and then it made so much fucking money. Although I still maintain that I think Disney possibly heightened those. But yeah, I think Disney and the way they've been behaving and the way they've taken down Rotten Tomatoes and done all this stuff, and the YouTube algorithms changing and all of this stuff, I think this is coming up. I think this is going to come against them. And I think this, changing Ariel, when you see how many times it has been done recently, Disney, you're not doing anything new.
It's when you do it the other way around and they go fucking schizo. Yeah, that's the bit that gets me. Is the fact you do the other way around, they go schizo. It doesn't make sense who they've picked. The only thing that makes sense is they've turned around and they said, she's amazingly talented. You've got to hear her sing. Yeah. If they told me that, then I'd be like, all right, yeah, it's got a point.
She's been chosen, and how can she? I mean, how can a person of colour think this is all right? That they haven't been chosen for the talent, they've been chosen for the colour of their skin. Isn't that equally racist?
Mate, unless you're judging people on their talent and talent alone, yeah, It's racist, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I
That's
can
it.
almost get some of the politics around Black Panther and all of that because it was always a black character, and blah blah blah. You can argue about who they cast as that character, but I might not agree with it, but I can understand it. I do not understand the mentality behind this. Just to me, it feels that they haven't chosen her for her talent because they haven't made a huge song and dance about her talent. They've chosen her for the color of her skin, and that to me is wrong. Positive discrimination is still fucking discrimination. Write a fucking character that is that color from the start, like Black Panther. Write fucking characters of color. Don't appropriate existing characters and change their colour just for the fucking sake of it. That's why I was so pissed off with what J.K. Rowling did with that Harry Potter thing. Oh, Hermione, I never mentioned Hermione's colour. Yes, you fucking did. You approved every goddamn illustration that went into all of your fucking books. Yes, you did. So don't... the woke... Oh, it pisses me off. It really, really, really winds me up because it's so fake. Disney, the fucking company that did Dumbo, the original one, is now going, oh, look at how amazing you are. No, you're not. You are virtue signaling, and it's wrong. I don't have a bloody problem with, I don't really give a shit about, what person plays Ariel. It's what it signifies. And it has nothing to do with replacing white characters. It has everything to do with this bullshit fakeness. That Disney is an evil overlord company. And as I said earlier on in the thing, the whole reason that we've got a third Peter Parker is because you didn't think Miles Morales could carry Spider-Man. That's the truth of it. And now, because the Twitterati are after you and everybody's saying, oh, look at how great we are. We've cast a fucking black Ariel. No, 2 years ago, you never would have done that. It's because it's 2019 and it's all about making money. It has nothing to do with representation. And anybody that fucking thinks it is kidding themselves. It's fake. And that's what annoys me. Sorry. But it is. It feels fake. Do something real.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And I'd like to end this podcast by going, that's just might as well tick all boxes. Donald Trump, Orange Man mad.
Oh, don't get me started on that again because
No, Keith.
No, Keith,
no,
it was
you're
a
right.
joke.
You were right, and I am seeing that more and more and more now.
It's just an old man.
No, you're right.
And it's got that old man fucking. If my granddad was put in charge of the US, he'd be worse. If he was still alive and put in charge of the US, trust me, he'd be worse. And on the bright side, he wouldn't be able to use Twitter because his Twitter's shit. Fucking, he'd be writing letters though. He'd spend all evening writing letters. Actual letters.
He'd dictate it to somebody else to type it.
No, because because it was to another world leader. He'd have to write. My granddad would have had to have written a letter, a proper letter. But yes. But yeah, it's bullshit. It really is.
It is. I agree with you.
It's annoying because there's talk that they might bring back Farscape.
Yeah, and I've also heard
if Dark Crystal works out on Netflix, they'll try and get him to push through a Farscape series. I don't want a Farscape to return in this fucking era. You've ruined Doctor Who, Star Trek.
Yeah.
You're gonna ruin Marvel sooner or later. Don't ruin Farscape. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Just...
When is it that we've got to the point where the series that we love, that we've been dying to come back, we're suddenly going, oh, hang on, it's 2019. No, don't bring it back. How have we got to this point? It just... God, it winds me up. And it's also fake. And it's also... Hollywood is the worst portion of humanity ever. And yet they're still trying to... I don't know. I don't understand why they feel that they have to preach to us that Trump is, the demigod. He's the evil thing in the world.
Antichrist.
Antichrist. He's not. He's just a fucking idiot half the time. Well, he's not an idiot. That's not fair. He's just an old man that came from a different era that looks like a fucking blonde blancmange with white teeth.
He's got what I refer to as a Florida suntan. And you see people like this where it's like, I think Jake.
Yeah, because he's around his eyes are really white. That's
really because they've got fucking sunglasses on. Yeah, it's just
But here's the
Florida man takes control of the country.
Here's the thing: I am no Trump supporter. I am not. Show me another president that just shook the hand of the North Korean leader in the DMZ, and I don't care if it's fake. I don't care. It happened more than any other president's ever achieved. Just saying. But we're not going to fucking talk about that. We're going to talk about everything else. No, he's a bad human being. True. But show me that. I mean, sorry, but I am not a Trump supporter. I really am. I argue with Gareth all the fucking time.
I'm not a Trump supporter either, but I recognise him as the balancing element in the societal equation. Because things are too unbalanced on one side, it's now balanced out on a fucking other. So, yeah.
But anyway, yes, I know exactly what you're saying because I love Farscape. Don't touch it. Do not touch it. Because, you do one thing wrong, the Twitterati will be after you. And that'll be that because everybody's opinion on Twitter is so fucking important these days. Even when Tom Holland supposedly spoils a film. That still irks me. It still fucking irks me. Sorry. I'm irked, Gareth. Yeah. I'm irked.
All right. Okay. And on that note, I think it's time we fucked off.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
That was too much, too political for me. I have no words.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I have no. You have words, but I just don't know.
I do have words, but
you should have words because they got Hollywood's got this thing against gingers at the moment. I mean, they replaced Mary Jane, a ginger, in Spider-Man. They replaced Ariel, a ginger. There's other cases where they've replaced gingers, isn't there?
Mate, you're facing a ginger extinction.
Yeah, they're trying to wipe you out, Nige.
Seriously,
Hollywood hates gingers.
They call everyone else Nazis, and they're trying to exterminate the gingers.
Yeah. Well.
He's still got no words, though. I don't care.
First they came for my fucking computer games, and I said nothing. Then they came for my fucking memes, and I said nothing. And then they came for the gingers.
That's when
and I had a party.
I found you were in my garden the other day, Nige.
I did. I saw that. I did.
Yeah, I sent that to you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was I?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were in my garden the other day. Yeah.
Pissed off little.
I don't remember it.
I do.
He weren't happy.
He
was complaining a lot.
It's a fucking Nigel in my garden.
I think he was playing Harry Potter, and that looked a bit like a pissed
leprechaun.
Oh, was it a leprechaun?
It was a leprechaun.
Oh,
it was a leprechaun.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, just to be sure.
Oh.
I'm right, and really on that note, let's fuck off. It's a bye from me. Bye-bye.
Bye from me.
And bye from me. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter @Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Monkey Nut Punch.